I know in Anthonix Maximus reviews, I reviewed Hocus Pocus, but this isn't Anthonix Maximus reviews, this is Anthonix Maximus Matinee. That's why I'm not super dressed up here. I just watched Hocus Pocus 2 on Disney+. And you know what? I will wear this witch's hat. How about that? I paid $6 for it so I can wear it while reviewing the first Hocus Pocus. I'm gonna get some mileage out of this thing. And I paid another $7 for this wand because I just wanted a Harry Potter wand. 29 years later and we get Hocus Pocus 2. This is a movie that starts off with us giving a backstory to the Sanderson sisters right away. It doesn't really build too much to the characters we know because as we see them, they're already outcasts. And I have to say, the girls who play the younger versions of the Sanderson sisters, a lot of S's, they did very well. Especially the girl who played Winifred, the Bette Midler witch. Salem actually has changed a lot since 29 years ago. Pretty much we don't get too many returns. The big return would have to be Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy, as well as Doug Jones playing Billy Butcherson, the zombie. This time the film revolves around 3 new teenage girls. Don't know if I can really give too much away on this because it does incorporate them a little bit closer to the witches, but it's kind of a repeat of the first movie. They light up a candle. This time though, they're not doing it just to provoke anyone. They do it because it's part of a ritual they do every birthday for the lead girl. This time they accidentally lit the black flame candle. The museum has become more of a entertainment for people / a souvenir shop. Tony Hale is in the movie as the mayor of that town. He also plays his ancestor who was a pastor or reverend or whatever. And the Sanderson sisters have it out for that family line. The movie is mostly the same thing. However, it does have some annoying parts. I think problem with Disney is they're really relying too much on CGI for everything. And yeah, I know. I sound like an old guy when I bitch about CGI, but here's the thing though. If you're gonna CGI anything, don't CGI animals, don't CGI birds or any animal that can be trained. We do get a couple musical numbers, one in particular that really makes no sense at all because they just show up and sing. Like, at least in the first movie, it made sense. I wouldn't even call the first Hocus Pocus movie a musical because anytime the sisters sang, it was to use their enchantment. So when the sisters sang on stage, they're actually trying to enchant the crowd. And when Sarah is singing in the sky, she's enchanting the children. But in this movie, yeah, they do that. But then there's a moment that when they first arrive, they just start singing. What for? They're just singing like it's become a musical now. And yes, I'm one of those people that would say a musical only is a musical if characters are singing for no reason. But if a character sings because they're on stage or they're using it for a device like they did to enchant people, then I would not call that a musical. The movie isn't too off from the first one. I think the gags and the gimmicks are kind of an advanced version of what we would have gotten if they made the sequel in the 90s. The green screen of them on the brooms. Like, the first movie didn't really use too much green screen when it came to them being on brooms because it was actually mostly wire work. But this time, green screen for all. But again, if they had made this in the 90s because Hocus Pocus was meant to be a TV movie, then it's pretty much the same. Like, it does kind of feel like the same thing. But the problem about making a movie decades after the original is that when an actor returns to play an iconic character, to me it just doesn't feel like that character anymore because those actors have grown since. I mean, the actors, they're entertaining. They really are. Like, I didn't hate them for being there. It just doesn't feel the same, that's all. But entertaining nonetheless. Same as Doug Jones as zombie Billy Butcherson. And it is funny how he clarifies the relationship with him and Winifred. Although, I should have asked this question when I reviewed the first one. Why does Billy look like that? At this point, 300 years, he should have been complete skeleton, if not dust. But whatever, movie has to movie, right? We gotta have our zombies. If I go any further, I'm gonna just start giving away some more information. So if you haven't seen the movie, this is the point where you may want to go ahead and get yourself some candy apple. But if you have seen the movie, or you haven't seen the movie but want to be spoiled anyways because you don't care about that, stick around. But for you candy apple getters, get in line, and I'll see you when you get back. Jump to about here. Yeah, so the beginning of the movie actually features another witch, the witch that introduces the sisters to the spell book. I thought they were going to do something with her on that, but no, I guess it's just another witch. Don't know what the direction they were going with on this film, because it's like they still continue the whole witches are evil thing, but in this film, it does kind of seem like they try to give the sisters an out. Like, try to give them some kind of a conscience. But not too much. It doesn't change them drastically. It's almost like they were trying to push a certain direction. And we never see that witch again. I have a feeling about something. You don't typically get an actor to play a witch like that, who seems menacing, only to dispose her. I feel they're trying to lean into a possibility of a third movie. I could be wrong, but maybe so. Maybe we'll get a Hocus Pocus 3 in 29 years from now, when the actors are like 90. I didn't have a problem with the new teenage girls. I really miss the original actors. I wish they could have come back into it. I don't even know if they were invited. I miss Max. I miss Allison. I miss Danny. I miss Thackeray Binks, the blonde one, or James Marsden's voice. Omri Katz retired years ago, and it's sad that he retired because he's a great actor, has a lot of chemistry, but sadly I feel like if he had continued to act, he would have ended up like Devon Sawa or Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Good actors, but after the 90s, it kind of felt like Hollywood just kind of pushed them off to the side for a while. They're slowly coming back, especially Devon Sawa, but I do feel like they were just kind of pushed to the side. And that's what would have happened to Omri Katz, I'm sure. Did I say James Marsden? Cyclops. Jason Marsden, though, he could have come back. I mean, he still does voice work, but I think that's all he does. I think that's all he is wanting to do, is just voice work, which, that's fine. He was the voice of Thackeray the cat. And who can blame him? I mean, there's more work in voice work. I did not care for Tony Hale as the mayor, because I'm not a fan of Tony Hale, really. Arrested Development is probably the best I've seen him in. The rest is just kind of whatever to me. At least they didn't make the mayor like this evil bad guy. And they had the potential to do that because he is a descendant of the person that tried to force young Winifred to marry his son. I also like the addition to the mythology that Winifred and Billy were never actually together, but instead just shared one kiss, and Winifred took that as a relationship. I feel like they filmed the Walgreens scene, aside from product placement, of course. I felt like they included a Walgreens scene because in the original Hocus Pocus, there was a scene where the sisters were like a grocery store. It was deleted. So I think they were trying to make up for it here. Yeah, the musical number I mentioned, when they first arrived, they were singing a variation of Elton John's The Bitch Is Back, The Witch Is Back. And then their main big song, their stage song. I have mixed feelings about that one because I do like Blondie's One Way or Another. But at the same time, I just didn't feel right. It just seemed too record label, But it was kind of cool that they blended in a little bit of I Put a Spell on You. And I did enjoy the fact that they actually had a choreographed audience participation where they're hunting through the town looking for the mayor. I actually wish they did more with that. I wish they actually captured the mayor and about to finish him off. But no, they ended up capturing his daughter, one of the 3 new teenage girls. I didn't catch their name and I'm sorry for that. And then Gilbert, the guy who tricked the main girls by giving them a black candle because he wanted to resurrect the sisters because he thought they were misunderstood. That could have been a message on its own. I didn't like the fake out with a black cat. I was hoping Thackeray was gonna come back. I mean, I didn't know how they were gonna accomplish it since we've seen in the first movie that he finally gets to die and be reunited with his sister, but I just don't know. They had potential for many ideas, but they didn't really go too far with it. Also, another problem about making a sequel too long from the original is that when you try to rebuild sets and everything, it never looks the same. I don't even think they filmed in Salem like they did in the first movie. None of the buildings looked the same. I wish they had done more. I wish they had done more talking about Max and Danny and Allison. Like, they showed Gilbert's flashback and he witnessed when the sisters were defeated. That's the only time the original three were acknowledged. And you know what? Maybe that's superfluous because we have all those Nightmare on Elm Street movies, all those Friday the 13th movies, horror movies where the monsters come back, but they have new teenagers to torture. Here's one problem I had with the film because it really just confused me on their motivation. There's a scene of the witches just flying around everywhere, you know, using their modern updated stuff. So it's a broom, a Swiffer mop, and Roombas. And they fly by a couple's living room and they're watching the first Hocus Pocus movie. They show the scene of Gary Marshall being told off by his on-screen wife / real-life sister, Penny Marshall. Like, what is that? Why are they watching the first Hocus Pocus? I mean, it's not a movie in their world because they're living in that world. So what is that? What was that scene about? And then the way that the sisters are defeated by Winifred getting what she wants, but it costs her the thing that she loves, which would be her sisters. They get taken away. And then it was up to the girls to get rid of Winifred so she can reunite with her sisters. Kind of like the first movie where Thackeray got to reunite with his sister. But yeah, that's where they try to make the witches have like some kind of a conscience, and this time their destruction is actually bittersweet. I did like the boyfriend jock character. He did have some jokes in it, and I did not like, though, that in the credits we get a studio recording of the sisters singing. Like, why? See, now that is pandering. I actually consider that pandering because they're just singing because we love to hear them sing. That was what they picked up on from the first movie. So yeah, let's just throw them in the studio. And the post credits, apparently there's another black candle the cat finds. It looks like the cat knows something, so that's why I think they're kind of edging for a third movie, provided that this one does well. But that's all I have to say on that note, so let's go ahead and wrap things up with our non-spoiler friends. See if they brought us any candy apple. Probably not, those selfish jerks. But don't tell them I said that. Zap. Welcome back, my non-spoiler friends. Did you get yourself some candied apple? I hope so. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you? You'll find out when you see the movie. The film has its own charms, but also I do feel it's lacking. I do feel like it should have ended at the first movie. I mean, if you're gonna do a sequel, don't wait too long. Or if you do, let it build off of the main characters, not just give us new characters with the main characters wandering around, if that makes sense. Basically what I'm saying is, don't let our actors age enough where their acting skills when honing in their characters are completely different and they're surrounded by fresh faces. That's like after quitting your high school job and then decades later when you need to make some extra money, you go back to your high school job and now you're surrounded by new students. It's a weak analogy, but I'm sure it works. As I was telling our spoiled friends, there is actually a mid-credit scene. I wouldn't even call it mid-credits as much as it starts as soon as the credits open. It's gonna be kind of cringy, in my opinion. But you know what? It might not be cringy to you. The post-credit scene maybe hints at a third movie, or it might give as much of a hint to a sequel as the first one did, meaning that it's open to interpretation, and if no sequel happens, then that's fine too. I loved the original Hocus Pocus. In this movie, I found it to be fine. It's fine. It's fine. So I'm gonna say this movie is a 6 6 out of 10. Closer to a 7 than a 5. And that's a good 6, not a bad 6. It's not for me, but it may be more for someone else. It may be more for you. Like I said, I just found the movie okay. It was entertaining. I did not like anyone. Actually, I liked all the actors okay. It's just basically Hocus Pocus, the new class. That's my review for Hocus Pocus 2. I say check it out on Disney Plus. It won't hurt. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I kind of miss Kenny Ortega directing this, but it's fine. I would say the quality of this movie made today is as equivalent to the quality of the original movie made in the 90s. The work and the effort put into this movie equals the work and the effort they put into the first one. Thank you for watching Anthonix Maximus Matinee. I am Anthonix Maximus. Be on the lookout for some more Anthonix Maximus Matinee, but also be on the lookout for Anthonix Maximus reviews. October is a long month for Halloween. Expect more than one Halloween movie review.